Hey everyone, Luke here, and welcome to another episode of the Capital City Bourbon Show. I'm here with my good friends, Alex Patel, High Horse himself, John Hill. We are here, of course, at the one and only Market Square Liquors in the beautiful but not so currently sunny Tallahassee, Florida. And we're here again to talk about and share whiskey with y'all. This one in particular I'm excited for because we're going to do a little flight of Michter's whiskey here today. Michter's is one of my personal favorites. I'm fortunate, we're all fortunate, we get to come to Market Square where they have more Michter's than I can even count. The 10 year, the 20 year, all the toasted, 25, all the toasted barrel. We can't bring all those out today, so we thought we'd do a nice little flight of the toasted barrel whiskeys today. So Alex, I'll let you go ahead and get us started.
Today we're going to be doing the Toasted series on their sour mash, rye, and bourbon. And what makes this a little bit special is that when they prep the wood for their barrels out of their cooperage, they do an 18-month air dry on these. And then they do an extra char, I believe like a char number 4, like you said, on the barrels. And that's what really helps bring out the flavor is all that char on the wood. They also do a couple of extra special things in the warehouse where they manipulate temperatures to get it hotter and colder to build pressure to force that interaction into that wood grain. Michter's is leading the edge on figuring out distillation with more science rather than just filling a barrel and letting it sit there.
Interesting.
That's news to me. Well, they came out with the toasted bourbon, 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I love it. It's really good stuff. When did they come out with the others? When did they start coming out with a series?
They do a different release of a toasted barrel every year.
Okay.
So 1 year it was the bourbon, 1 year it was the sour mash. I think 3 years ago it was a toasted barrel bourbon, and then it was the rye, and then the sour mash. I believe that was the order that it came out.
I sure like it, and it's popular here.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited.
Michter's might be my favorite go-to drink, more so than anything else that we have, even most of our barrel picks. Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
It is wonderful whiskey.
Well, let's go ahead and start. Let's start.
All right.
Let's start with the rye since that's closest to me.
I'm glad to hear that, Alex, because I'm sure you'll be buying us around here pretty soon.
I'll take a shot at the 25.
I'll have Alex's go-to. Put it on his tab if you don't mind.
I always tell them that it doesn't ever work for some reason. They find me. I don't know how, but they find me.
Which one are we drinking?
Yeah.
We're drinking the Michter's toasted barrel finish of the rye whiskey, which is 110 proof. Charred white oak barrel.
That's got a great nose on it.
It really does.
It's a rye. You get a little of that proof in there. You get the ethanol coming out of it, but
it's got such a sweet nose to it for being a rye.
Yeah. Well, the Michter still is a lot of malt, a little bit more than most people use. And according to the old master distiller, that brings out the sweetness.
it's smooth.
It's kind of like a nice bite of leather right when it hits your tongue. You get that rye taste, and you get some leathery taste, and then back to grain on the finish for me. A little bit of sweetness there on the end.
I've always questioned this business about leather because you taste it in a lot of things, and I don't eat a lot of leather, but I agree with you on this. It really does have a good leathery taste.
It does. Yeah.
The leather is one of those acquired tastes that, after trying so many different whiskeys, it's like, you get used to it.
I know. Old shoes.
What's funny is a lot of people, when you're tasting whiskey, you're reviewing whiskeys, you'll put something like that down and people say, well, that sounds awful or disgusting. It's like, it's hard to describe, but it works.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of reviews I've done of some ryes, particularly MGP rye, I always talk about like pickling brine or even a little bit of dill.
Right.
And I've had people ask me, well, that has to be gross.
Yes.
But it's hard to explain, but it's not. It's just, when you taste it, you know it, and then that's all you can do as best you can is just describe what you're tasting. And I definitely get some leather on the palate here.
It's got a dark sweetness to it. It's almost like a burnt sugar on top of the leather, naturally.
On top of the leather.
That's right.
So much leather.
But it is a delicious taste of rye whiskey, man. And if you gave this to me blind, I'm not so sure I would say it was rye. I might think it was a bourbon, but it's got a great dark rye taste to it.
Yeah.
And obviously some corn in there with it. Man, that's a good drink.
Yeah, definitely get that sweet at the end too. Some grain and just that a lingering sweetness. It's really nice.
Is that, when did this one come out, the rye?
I think the rye came out last year.
Still any of it on the shelf or just mostly on the
Well,
bar?
it was such a limited release that we only got a few bottles for the lounge. It's hard pressed. You'll be hard pressed to find this on anybody's shelf in a store.
I love it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
You say was, y'all drank it on?
Oh yeah.
Well, we got to get through 3 bottles here. We don't got all day.
Okie dokie.
All right. Well, what are we on to next?
Let's go to the bourbon.
All right. Toasted barrel finished Kentucky straight bourbon. And this one is 45.7 ABV.
So probably right around high 90s on the proof. Perfect. One of the cool things about Michter's is we toured the facility. I don't know if you remember. It is like an 80,000 square foot facility, but they are so technologically advanced there. There's 2 guys filling all the barrels of bourbon with the juice, and one guy just loads it on, and then a conveyor belt just takes the barrel somewhere into their rick house.
That's really cool.
It's absolutely phenomenal what these folks are doing over there. And actually, I think Pamela Heilman, she was the first female master distiller ever since Prohibition. And she was that for Michter. She was at Beam Suntory for 15 years before that, working under their master distiller directly.
Okay.
And when they were, on a search to who was going to replace Willie Pratt, that her name kept coming up in pretty much everyone's suggestions and top 5 lists. So, she's regarded as one of the best top 5 distillers in the world, and probably the first female to reach that status.
Wow. I've never met her.
We actually had dinner with her and had a bunch of drinks with her at a couple of the nice restaurants in downtown Louisville after our tour. And she's a phenomenal person, and it just goes that everybody at Michter's that we came across was just great.
Well, she replaced a great guy. I thought Willie Pratt was one of the all-time masters himself.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
We did that. You remember that tasting we did in his office, and then he's like, "Man, you guys kind of know what you're talking about." So he went and got that 25-year celebration out of his office.
Yeah.
This was like at 10:30 in the morning. We got pretty hammered.
That's the best time to drink.
Now, which one is this? Tell me again.
This is the bourbon.
This is the bourbon.
Brown sugar there.
I give that toffee,
This is a good bourbon. I wouldn't put it at the top of my list.
No.
It is one of my all-time favorite bourbons, but it's absolutely a good bourbon. It's not a pedestrian drink by any stretch of the
No, and you
imagination.
can definitely. It's got that nice, sweet, smoky flavor in it.
This was always a favorite of mine. The
from an
toasted
extra
bourbon.
char. Yeah.
Yeah, you really do pick up that toasted barrel there.
Yeah.
Like you said, that sweet, smoky finish. Very smooth, a little creamy on the palate for me.
You're right.
But just a nice
I like
balance of
corn,
that
yeah.
smoke. More than just your typical barrel char. It's really elevated. I think that adds an additional layer on the palate that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
Definitely a great sipping whiskey.
Cotton candy.
Get some cotton candy.
This would make a great cotton candy flavor.
on leather. Little leather back, yeah.
I think that toast on the barrel is going to add that hint of leather a little bit.
Toasted leather.
Toasted leather.
I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to do that when I get home. Toast some leather.
Put a Pop-Tart in one
See if I
spot
can-
and
See
some
if I
leather
can
in
hang
the
with
other.
you, man.
And we'll have to talk to the folks at Michter's and see if they're putting leather and cotton candy in their barrels before they put the whiskey in.
Well, they got a high-tech lab where they're analyzing everything, so who knows what they got going on in there.
That's a nice whiskey.
That's what brings out the sugars, the toasted leather.
Everyone knows that.
Leather
Industry secret.
Leather barrels. I need to stop. I apologize.
Yeah, it's one of those days, John. Don't worry. All right, what do we got next?
The last one, we're on the toasted sour mash.
Toasted sour mash.
To be honest, I have never tried this one.
So this is going to be our lowest proof. This is 86 proof. It's 43% ABV.
What makes it a sour mash? Do you guys know?
I don't know, but I do know this. This goes back to Willie Pratt. Is what he liked about being able to make the sour mash or the American whiskey was it wasn't named bourbon and it wasn't named rye. So he could play with the mash bills. And, you know, he could do 30% rye, 30% wheat, 30% whatever, corn. And so it gives him a chance to experiment a little bit, and I think he came out with some delicious whiskeys. As long as it doesn't say bourbon around there, you pretty much got run of the mill in terms of how you want to put your mash bill together.
Right.
A little bit lighter of a nose on this one.
Yeah, I'd put this one right between those two in terms of walking up the taste ladder.
The sour mash is the middle of the road one out of this series for sure. It's definitely easy to drink.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously lower proof, but I'm not getting any alcohol burn from that. And that is easy drinking if I've ever had anything easy drinking. I mean, but you know, it's good, but I'm like John. I like those big boy whiskeys, that high rye, that extra alcohol kick, and this one is just too smooth for me.
Yeah,
you know, there's just not enough there to really challenge me.
You know, it's a milder flavor, but you know, this would be a good if you were going to come into the toasted series and you're just unsure about it. That's the middle of the road one. Yeah, and then you can see what's on the right and left side of it, and that'll really help you understand the difference between a bourbon, sour mash, and a rye.
Absolutely.
I think this would be a good one to do side by side for anybody who's trying to expand their palate.
But I believe all three of them belong on the top shelf.
Absolutely.
Or close to the top shelf. Yeah. Even this one, and the difference between this bourbon and a pedestrian bourbon, excuse me for using that word twice, but that old $15 bottle of bourbon on the bottom shelf, the difference between this and that is night and day.
Yeah.
And every one of these things. So if you want a top shelf bourbon, I wouldn't hesitate to pick up any of these bottles. I think it's a good idea if you get the opportunity to step in a bar like this one and taste them all and decide what you like, if you can find a bottle on the shelf.
That's always a problem now.
It's always a problem.
Yeah. Well, you can find one here.
Well, see, we're lucky, and if our viewers listen, all they have to do is come to Tallahassee. We're here. I mean, it's no secret. This is not anything we just share amongst ourselves. It's all there. So what y'all think? You have a favorite?
Yes.
I think the U.S. one, bourbon, is definitely my favorite.
Bourbon? What about you, John?
The rye.
The rye?
Heads above the others. In my
Sometimes I think you're just going to go against the most opposite thing I say.
No. It's just it had all of the things Luke said it has. The big boy, it's got a little bit of circuitous to it. And it's got that leather. I love leather. What do you think, Luke?
Go figure. I'm going to side with John on this one. The US 1 rye is just, that was great. I could drink that all day long. And, plenty of challenge, but yeah. I mean, they're all great. We can't emphasize that enough. But
100%.
If I'm picking a clear winner, I'm going with that rye. But all right, well, everyone, thank you again for joining us. We're gonna keep working on some new tastings coming up. We got a new video camera. We just got to figure out how to work the damn thing, and we're gonna try to get these videos better in quality, better sound. We're playing around with different bourbon and whiskey mashups to do and battles like we did last time. If there's anything you'd like to see us do, feel free to send us a message.
Comment on the post.
Yeah, comment. Let us know.
Definitely share it if you think anything we're doing give you help or clarification, or even if you're laughing at us because you thought it was funny, feel free to share it.
Let us hear from you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and cheers.
Cheers.